Well, good morning. First of all, before I even get into the video, I want to let you guys know that I do read your comments. Um, I don't allow everybody else to read them because it's none of their business. All the, marvelous things y'all tell me. And I do read your comments. So if I don't respond or if I don't post them, that's why. I don't know if I go through and give it a heart. Actually, I can't give it a heart if it's held. But I just want y'all to know that I do read the comments. Um, and I thank y'all, for all the love. But I do want to note that I brought his ass out of hiding. I brought his crispy ass out of hiding, you know. Um, and in case y'all don't know who I'm talking about, this is his troll account right here. I did a video on it. Matter of fact, I'll make sure that I post a link to it. This is who Sakina was working with to bring down my channel. If I had to guess, she may still be working with him. Um, and I'll get into that later in the video. But first, I do want to, read the comment. I might as well read it, right? Uh, because I'm going to control who sees your comment. And I'm going to control the narrative around the comment. Mr. Zillionaire. Wait a minute, or should I say David Lloyd Dunston? That's your name, right? Okay. Okay, what is this? A monkey with his hand over his mouth, which I use that on all of my stuff. So he probably got it from me. He probably got that little crying thing, laughing thing from me. It's okay. It says still mad, zeal. I don't know what zeal is. You mean pervert? A moment of silence for all the perverts in the world. This is going to be a part serious and part not so serious, but mainly serious video. Way more successful than you will ever be. Okay. It hurts you bad, don't it? Okay. So that's, you know, what Zillionaire, you know, twisted his fat ass off of his seat around. He just twisted around. The same way he did in prison when it wasn't no penises available that could find the crack of his head, the crack of his funky ass, because you can't find it. So that's what he does. He just wiggles around on that in that one room. You know, is the cable on this week in that room? Okay. All right. Let's get serious. But yeah, this is one of his troll accounts. I knew that um, I was able to outsmart this guy. I knew it. You know. Um, and believe me, y'all, he edited this. You see up here where it says edited? That means that he said one thing and then he went back in and changed it to something else. What happened? Were you afraid that maybe your account was going to that your whole Google account was going to get terminated? And any accounts associated with it? Meaning your channel? Is that what it is? You're holding on to your channel for dear life, aren't you? Does Tyler Perry know your full background? A moment of silence for Tyler Perry obviously not knowing what you do on here and offer here and been doing and will continue to do. But I'm going to break it down for y'all. I love doing these kind. You know how you set a trap for somebody and they fall right in it? I like doing that. Thing with my traps are though, they are never disguised. They're just out in the open. They're out in the open. And people intentionally walk in them because they feel like, well, I can get away with anything. You know. Now, let me just make sure I understand this. You got away with doing all kinds of things that landed you on the National Registry, Sex Registry, Sex Offender Registry list. You did things with a 12-year-old girl, another 12-year-old girl, a 14-year-old girl. Now, let's break that down, y'all. He was dating the mother. And let me say allegedly, because I don't know the inner workings, but it doesn't really matter because the grooming process is the same. The only thing is, he's trying to groom me. He's been spending 2 years trying to groom me into thinking that I'm jealous of him. But let's break this down, y'all. This is what they do. They get online and they groom these vulnerable minded young girls. But now let's take it offline. You're a mother and you have young daughters. You meet a man, you like the man, and little do you know, let's say for instance your daughters are 7 and 8. Little do you know, this man is going to groom your daughters. Because it doesn't happen overnight. It's a calculated move. It's a calculated step. It's things that they do. They have to do them when it's just him and the daughters, because the mother would pick up on those things. Or they're done so subtly that she may not. Because she has to cook, she has to run errands, she has to wash clothes, she has to work, she has to do her hair, she has to do her makeup, all that stuff. And then she sleeps. They groom these young girls. And if they're all under the same roof, or even if they're not under the same roof, if he has access to them by going to your home, yeah, they're gonna make you think it's all about you, but really, they're grooming your daughters. In their minds, they're imagining what they're gonna look like when they're 12. So they got 4 or 5 years to do this. It's similar to the same way that he's been trying to groom himself into his perverted, twisted mind into thinking that I'm jealous of a pervert, someone who's registered with the National Sex Offender list. And this is the sickness of these people. I'm grown, so he can't penetrate my barriers, and I wouldn't let him penetrate anything over here. Any orifices. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, let me just say any opening. He can't penetrate anything over here. I don't even allow him to penetrate my ears or my eyes. Because there are guys on here that I like and that I watch. He's not one of them, and Trey King's not one of them either. But let's get back to the subject here. They groom your daughters. It's a slow process. They groom them. And then when they reach puberty, because it's something about puberty, I guess that phase where they aren't no longer a little girl, but then, they're developing into a woman. There's something about that phase of it that they're attracted to. And they're relentless. They're even more relentless than they are on here. Like, he's been sending me stuff from this account for over a year and a half now. Even emailing me my personal email, commenting and all that stuff. I guess trying to get a reaction, but the reaction is, you're a sex offender, you're a pervert, You mess with underage girls. Now, you're registered, so you have to be guilty. And for those who may not know what that is, that's what this is right here, y'all. At the top, it says North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. Above that, it says Sex Offender Registry. Okay? And I suggest that y'all find out where these are in your state. Find it online. These predators are everywhere. They're everywhere. They hate people like me because I can see right through them. Why do you think he took the time from his channel? And we all know the garbage and filth that he does over there. I mean, we all know what that is. And he calls that success. A moment of silence for his demented version of success. Okay, now let's break this down. A registered sex offender, convicted, obviously. And let's see what it is here, the details. Now, he was been registered since 2002. Indecent liberty minor, sex arousal with a child, 14. These are his different aliases. David C. and then David L. David Lloyd. So there's all these different variations. This has been going on since he was 25. He didn't just wake up one day. You have to remember, they groomed these kids. If I had to guess, he started at probably 18 or 19, or even before that. "12-year-old, same thing. Another 12-year-old, same thing. Status, registered. I just want to point that out, y'all. I mean, if I had to guess, that makes you ineligible for any of this stimulus money, doesn't it? Because after you groomed those girls and the mother found out and you got caught, and obviously there was enough evidence to convict you, and I doubt all three of these girls went along with a lie. I mean, it's not like you were sued civilly and they got some kind of big, $100,000 payoff. There was something happened. It's a sickness. And when people like me see it, they stalk me. They go out of their way. It's like these same grooming behaviors that they use on the girls, they twist it around into stalking. So that's what he's been doing with me. But it, like I said, it doesn't work. This is a very sick person. You know, like how every bag of potato chip you might find like a burnt chip. He's that one burnt chip in the bag, you know. But this is no laughing matter. Because, I mean, look now, this is 2012. He's been registered since 2002. The date of this is 2012. Now, a year before that, weren't you a fugitive from justice? You know, violating parole and probation and all these different things. You know, it's like all those things that you get on your channel and say you got away with doing when you were younger. If I had to guess, those aren't the only female victims. A moment of silence. Because there are others. There has to be. Someone like this, you can look at his eyes. It's like he's looking through those little girls' eyes, and somehow or another he's trying to communicate with their lack of maturity, you know, their confusion about going through puberty, you know. And somehow I think there's a void in his brain where he probably has the real mental of a child in puberty. I think mentally he stopped. Like sexually, I think he stopped there in puberty. And these are the type of girls that he's aroused by. Females, a lot of y'all have daughters. If not, you have nieces. Some of you even have granddaughters. You know, there's girls in the church that you like and, you know, care about and things like that. Mind what these girls are doing online. Just because there's a picture doesn't mean that that picture is the person that they're chatting with. Behind every picture there could be someone like this. Registered sex offender. You know, there are no 18-year-old girls on this. There are no 19, 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds. I mean, these girls are half his age. Less than half. You know? I hate it for the women that are walking around ignorant. Like, you know, yeah, that happens, but it'll never happen to anyone I know. It'll never happen to my daughter or my granddaughter or my niece or my adopted daughter or my neighbor's cute little girl. But yeah, I mean, if I had to guess, y'all, these people don't work alone. Okay, but let's backtrack. Let's go back a year from 2012. Is that when you weren't? Is that when you was violating probation and not, not registering like you were supposed to? Thinking you could get away with it, like how you've gotten away with all this other stuff you've gotten away with that you've done throughout your life in Philly, you know? It was only a matter of time, you know. Yeah, you get a few dollars on YouTube, but look what you're doing to get it. I mean, 5 and 6 channels built up off Kanika Jenkins, and you call that successful, or anything got to do with Kobe Bryant and you know just all this awful stuff, all this bad news, you know. It's if I had to guess, you're up right now, just like I am, you know. But you know why I'm up? Because last night I was up applying for that stimulus money that I'm eligible for, you know. I don't have the kind of criminal background and criminal record that you have. I'm eligible for that stuff. Since there's a second round of it, I applied for my $10,000. If I had to guess, if I really wanted a loan, I could probably get $25,000 if I wanted it. I really don't want it, you know. But you can hang it up. What you're doing now, you're gonna have to always do. You're gonna have to always scour the internet, you know, tell people, ooh, ain't I'm the most specialist thing, you know. But all along, let me guess, after you get through talking about Kanika Jenkins, or after you get through, you know, being a fraud on your channel, because that's what you are. You're a fraud, you know. You have the sexual mind of a adolescent. If I had to guess, when you get through recording, that's when you pull out those toys, isn't it? I mean, let's break this down. If someone can get a picture of Kobe Bryant in that plane crash, first of all, I can't even imagine who would even want to see it. But that tells me the likes of a mind of a person like you. Because there's a lot of people like you out there. Sick, twisted people. Some of the most sick, twisted people in the world. They're very cunning and manipulative. What's very unfortunate is that I don't think Sakina realizes that at the first chance, you probably would have did whatever to her own daughter. And it's so ironic that she got on here defending you, you know. But let's fast forward 3 years after this, 2015. Isn't that when you were, what, allowing prostitution in your, I guess, your residence or whatever, you know? Not registering as a sex offender and, you know, violating probation and all this other different stuff that you're doing for money. Is that one of your businesses too? You're a pimp? Y'all know that there are a lot of those young girls in Atlanta that have, you know, men that pimp them out. There's usually a ring of these people. Connect the dots, y'all. I mean, who would even have access to that kind of filth? like a picture of Kobe Bryant's crash scene and an actual picture of Kobe Bryant, after the crash. This person has the photo. He's seen it. He wanted to see it. He accepted it. Can you imagine the underground? See, you have to always remember you're on the internet. Always remember that. Just like they have, just like this is something different. He can probably go anywhere and do that. Anywhere at all. Matter of fact, let's open this up. I want y'all to see something. And while we have YouTube open, let's take a look at his channel. Let's see the kind of filth that he does. But no, y'all, I am definitely not. Okay, it stopped recording, y'all. I'm gonna bring up his channel here. But can y'all imagine the caliber of a person that would even get Kobe Bryant's crash scene photo? Who would even want that in their possession? Now, if you notice, he has all this, everything is scheduled in advance. That's how he does it. He schedules everything in advance. There's always something scheduled. But, this is just what he does. This is a very sick person. One of the sickest people around. And look at the content that he does. See? As excuse me, as recent as a day ago, J4K. See? It makes me wonder, did he have ties with her as an adolescent? Because she was still a young girl. If you notice, his views only come when he does something about Kanika Jenkins. Or death, or, all these awful things. And it's just what he does over and over and over again. A week ago, it's still the same thing. And he says, now I wonder, does Lovely T.I. know that she's shouting out a registered sex offender? If so, y'all, that says a lot, doesn't it? Never forget this. Never forget this. And what's odd is it makes you wonder. Now I've done several videos on her. She's a scammer too. A lot of times that's what they do. But if you look at his views, you see anything that he does, it's all about, if he's not doing something grimy and slimy or whatever, he doesn't get views. It's only about, he's just a slimy person, y'all. This is a slimy, grimy guy. He looks at the coronavirus as a paycheck. That's how he sees it. Prior to YouTube monetizing coronavirus videos, I heard him say at that time, "Oh, I've already done a coronavirus video. Y'all already know how I feel about it. But now every other video, damn near, is a coronavirus video." And all he does is just, it's just, if I had to guess, a lot of this stuff, they don't I mean, who would take someone like this seriously? You know, there's no talent in what he does. The only talent he has is going after these young girls. That's the only talent he has. Now here it says race not reported, crispy. He's very crispy, you know. But y'all, this is someone that, you know, I mean, you can't get any more indecent than this. And you have to ask yourself, what kind of a mother, especially one that has had their daughter um, violated, that has had their young daughter violated, would get on here and defend someone like this? I mean, either they're ignorant or they're cut from the same cloth. A lot of people are cut from the same cloth. You know. But make sure that your daughters aren't violated by someone like this. You know. That's why they have these registries set up, particularly for people like this. You know. I mean, if I had to guess, y'all, how could Tyler Perry hire him and keep him on payroll, knowing what he does? Either he doesn't know or he doesn't care. I don't know which. I mean, I'm not a big Tyler Perry fan, so, you know, I'm not really fazed by that stuff. Um, a lot of things don't faze me, you know. Important things do. Like exposing, you know, the trash that I see on YouTube. I make that a priority. So, I don't know. You have to remember, you have to always consider the source. This is only one of his accounts, but it's just what he does. You know? See, he has so much to say about black people, and he categorizes them into all these different categories, but he'll never sit around and talk about the category that he fits into, which is a perverted, child molesting, registered sex offender, habitual criminal, hard up, you know, full of himself, because he's gotten away with so much, but he haven't been able to get away with this, and that's what bugs him. The only release he has are those toys, all kinds of toys. Believe me, y'all, he's doing all kind of stuff. The time when he's not on YouTube, guess where he is? If I had to guess, probably on some of these dating sites or teenager sites, or, you know, sites that, you know, adolescent girls hang around in. He probably has a profile as an adolescent boy someplace, hiding behind a picture, fiending, you know, to quench that sick adolescent perverted thirst that he has for underage girls. I mean, 3 of them in one family, and that's the ones we know about. you know, allegedly prostitution rings. You know, if I had to guess, there are missing girls right now, someplace, out on the stroll. These people are sick. And what's sad is, you got females over there that are willing to close their eyes and turn the other cheek. Oh, well, as long as he ain't doing it to my daughter. That's the sad part. Someone like this, they need to always struggle the rest of their life. They need to always wear that badge of dishonor to humanity, to the black race. And then has the nerve to get up on here and think somebody like me or any of y'all who sees him for what he really and truly is, and he gets on here and thinks that's success. I wonder what excuse he comes up with to validate what he does to these young girls. You know, people like this, they are the sickest people, and they do the most sickest things. They associate themselves with the most sickest, twisted, demented things, trying to figure out how to turn it into $1. Oh, I'm from Philly. I grew up poor. I'm this, that, the other. I can relate to all of y'all. But those people can't relate to what he's done to girls who are the ages of their sisters and their daughters and their granddaughters. I mean, I guess some people are willing to throw away their adolescent girls if it means, you know, some kind of attention from somebody, from a male figure that they've never had in their lives on a consistent basis. And at the drop of a dime, they will groom these young girls and violate them. It's sick. It's twisted. It's sinister. See it for what it is, and always see it for what it